What's up, guys? Welcome to Chasing Folklore. I am George Martinez. Oh, hi. You wanna say hi? Okay, we're gonna try that again. What's up, guys? Welcome to Chasing Folklore. I am George Martinez. And this is my cute little dog, Lily. And apparently she wants to be in the video, so why not? So today, because it's finally October, I want to talk about one of my favorite monsters, and those are vampires. Today, guys, we're gonna be talking about the American vampire. So before I even start the story, I just want to say thank you. I want to thank you guys for liking my stuff, for commenting, for subscribing, for all the love that you guys have been giving me and Chazelle on our social media, on our Instagrams. Everything has been awesome, and just the fact that you guys like watching my videos means everything to me, honestly. Thank you so much. So one of my most favorite monsters in all of folklore is the vampire. Many of you know the famous story of Dracula, inspired by Romanian king Vlad the Impaler. But today I don't want to talk about European vampires. I want to talk about something that is lesser known that I've recently found out about, actually, and those are the American vampires. So to be more specific, I really want to dig down and explore the vampire panic of the 19th century. I found out about this story because I recently bought a book called Lore, and the book has different stories about different monsters and legends of folklore, but one of the most interesting things is that there is like a section about vampires, and specifically American vampires. The book says that sometime in the 1890s there was a newspaper that talked about perhaps the vampires in America. So what I did is that I went online and I looked through everything I could to find that newspaper article, and after a long time and long search I actually found it. The article was written in 1892 by the Evening Herald, and it read, "Dead bodies that have blood and flesh long after dead." The article mentions that a young man named Edwin Brown had fallen victim to a disease that was killing thousands of people in America. This disease back then was called consumption, and nobody knew what really it was or how it was spread or why people even had it in the first place. Consumption was unlike any other disease. Diseases such as yellow fever or cholera or even measles killed quickly, killed a lot of people, but it killed them quickly. People then become immune to it and then it passes. Consumption, on the other hand, seemed like a disease that was just not gonna pass, and people just kept dying from it, and nobody knew how to treat this disease. Those afflicted by the disease suffered from wasting, coughing up blood, and night sweats. The story says that consumption was afflicting a lot of his family members. Apparently, Edwin's mother and one of his sisters had already passed away from this disease. So what he decided to do was to go away to Colorado Springs in an attempt to get better. It was believed that going away from urban areas would make you feel better. Also, the air is purer, is cleaner, and they believe that this would help you with consumption, which back then was the name of the disease, which we now today know as tuberculosis. Everything seemed to work out, and Edwin became better, so he decided to go back home to Rhode Island. When he got back home, he found out that one of his sisters, her name is Mercy, she actually passed away from tuberculosis. Their father actually still lived with them, and he wasn't afflicted by the disease. After all the deaths in the family, his wife dying and his daughter also dying, he was really happy that Edwin had come back and that he was okay. Sadly, soon after Edwin returned home, he actually got worse, and the disease seemed to somehow come back to him. And this is where things get really interesting. Apparently the father had heard that other people had been dying from tuberculosis, and one specific doctor was telling people that maybe there was something else behind this sickness, that there was some sort of darkness. So what he instructed as a cure, as a method of preventing further deaths, was to exhume the bodies of those who had already passed from consumption. The doctor believed that this wasn't a matter of science, but of something far darker, that of vampirism. He wholeheartedly believed that the people who were buried in the cemeteries were actually still taking the life force of those who were living and feeding upon it and also killing them. In an attempt to save Edwin's life, his father decided to exhume the bodies of his wife, the mother, and his daughter. When he examined the body of his wife, he saw that there wasn't any signs of vampirism, or at least any signs that were said to be had by the doctor. So he moved on to his daughter. He opened Mercy's coffin and saw that her heart and her liver still had blood in them. And this is one of the early signs of vampirism. So what he did was that he took out the liver and the heart and decided to burn it. And apparently this would cure his son Edwin. Unfortunately, Edwin still passed away from consumption, as we now know it to be, tuberculosis. This story is really interesting because it proves that maybe vampires don't exist, but not all stories during this time were the same. Some had actually different outcomes. One of the more interesting cases is that of a reverend who lost 3 of his daughters to consumption, and when he saw that his 4th daughter was actually getting sick, he decided to do anything in the world possible to save her life. What he did was, he decided to exhume the bodies of his other 3 daughters and found that one of them, after being buried for 6 years, still had blood in her organs. At least the blood wasn't fluid, but it was coagulated and it was still there. It was still, in a way, fresh. So he decided to burn those organs and separate them from the body. And after this happened, he claims that his daughter actually became better and she survived tuberculosis. So the American vampire was not a corpse who rose from the dead to feast on the living, but a far more dangerous monster that fed on the living while it's still in its grave without moving a muscle. But what do you guys think? Is the American vampire worse than the European one? Is this type of vampire a more dangerous monster than the European style Dracula vampire? Comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Also, hit the thumbs up if you guys like videos like this. Hit that notification bell. We put videos up every Monday and every Thursday, and I guess I'll see you guys on the next chase.